Hey there, welcome to the complete story of Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first entry in a remake series, which aims to retell not only the story of the all-time classic Final Fantasy VII, but also the story of the extended compilation series, with some surprises along the way. This video covers the first installment in the remake saga, so whether you're here just to enjoy the ride, to get a refresher before the next game drops, or just to see what all the fuss is about, you've come to the right place. I'm Peter from Birds of Play, and I hope you'll join me as we revisit the complete story of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And don't forget to check out our video on the complete story of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission, once you're done with this one. Oof, these titles are so long. But speaking of long things, it's going to be a long way from here to the end, but I hope you'll be with us every step of the way. Chapter 1. The destruction of Mako Reactor 1. A lone eagle traverses a vast desert wasteland before arriving at the sprawling industrial city of Midgar, thriving in the center of the lifeless wilds, as if life had been forcefully congregated in that one spot through the power of human ingenuity. In the depths of the Undercity, situated beneath a gargantuan metal plate, a young girl carrying a basket of flowers walks onto the streets of this dystopian metropolis, where one can only imagine flowers are hard to come by. The city is encircled by a collection of massive power plants that harvest Mako, the world's new premier source of energy, each reactor emitting an eerie green glow when active and releasing tall pillars of fumes into the atmosphere. In another part of the city, a train turns into a station next to one of the reactors, and as soon as it stops, a ragtag group of eco-terrorists, calling themselves Avalanche, jumps off the train and knocks out the station guard. Finally, the newest member of the group somersaults off the train and lands on the platform before following suit. The rookie's name is Cloud Strife, a mercenary who used to work for the Shinra Electric Power Company as a part of their elite special forces, known as Soldier. He's been hired by Avalanche to aid them in the bombing of Mako Reactor 1 in Midgar's Sector 1, and the happy-go-lucky saboteurs are glad to have him with them, although Cloud makes a point of this being a one-time thing. Together with Barrett Wallace, the leader of the terrorist cell, as well as Jesse Raspberry, Biggs and Wedge, they infiltrate the reactor and make their way to the heart of the facility. On the way, Cloud is forced to listen to Barrett give a sermon about the planet being a living entity whose life force is gradually being drained away by the Shinra Electric Power Company, which cares about nothing more than bleeding the planet dry for profit. Despite the heartfelt speech, Cloud remains unsympathetic to their cause, leading Barrett to keep a close eye on the former soldier as they continue on with their mission. When they finally reach the core, Barrett orders Cloud to set the bomb as a sign that he can be trusted, but as Cloud takes the bomb in hand, he suffers a short episode wherein he spots a lone black feather falling to the ground before vanishing without a trace. Cloud shakes it off as if it was nothing and sets up the bomb developed by Jesse. This triggers the robot sentry, Guard Scorpion, which jumps into the fray to stop the intruders. Together, Cloud and Barrett are able to destroy the robot sentry and start the timer on the bomb, prompting them to make their escape. As they make a run for it, Jessie is caught underneath some falling rubble, so Cloud rushes in to rescue her, earning both her gratitude and admiration. Everyone gets out within the time limit, but unbeknownst to them, President Shinra, the head of the Shinra Electric Power Company, has been watching their every move, along with Heidegger, the head of public safety. As Jesse's bomb fails to detonate properly, President Shinra even takes it upon himself to order the self-destruction of the reactor, resulting in a sky-high explosion impossible to ignore. Chapter 2. Fateful Encounters. As they exit the scene of the crime, they discover that the area in Sector 1 surrounding the reactor is devastated way beyond what they had intended. The group is shocked by this outcome, but Barrett encourages them to look at the bigger picture and reminds them that nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice. Having reconfirmed their conviction, the group members scatter into the streets and agree to meet up on the train going back to the slums. While moving through the horrified crowds and debris, Cloud has a vision of Nibelheim, his hometown, being razed to the ground, in the middle of which stands Sephiroth, a rogue first-class soldier from Cloud's past. As Cloud's mind returns to the streets of Midgar, he is surprised to find that the image of Sephiroth continues to haunt him. As Cloud confronts Sephiroth, he tells him that he can't be real, since he had killed Sephiroth with his own hands. Sephiroth remembers the time Cloud killed him fondly. Then he expresses the longing for Cloud to save himself and the planet, as the planet is host to all which binds them together, and Sephiroth would loathe to live in a world devoid of their bond. Enraged by his visage, Cloud finally musters the strength to banish Sephiroth with a swing of his sword, returning everything to normal. Thinking he's snapped out of it, Cloud runs into the Flower Girl, but Sephiroth continues to harass him. The girl asks whether he's okay and offers him a flower as a gift, the flower symbolizing a reunion. Suddenly the girl is assaulted by some invisible entity, but as she touches Cloud, he begins to see the cloak-like beings swarming all around them. Cloud tries to fend them off with his sword, alerting the nearby Shinra public security forces to his presence. The girl runs off, with the ghost-like apparitions chasing after her, while Cloud is left to escape the Shinra troops. As he appears surrounded, Cloud is able to jump onto a passing train and reunite with the others just as planned. Having regrouped, they make their way to the front of the train, where Barrett confronts some Shinra employees in the midst of condemning the terrorist attack by Avalanche. Barrett says that he hopes the message of the attack is received loud and clear. But one of the employees refuses to give in to Barrett's rhetoric and intimidation tactics, telling him this is not the way civilized people change the world. As the Shinra employees leave, a disgruntled Barrett takes a seat, mumbling about how they are the good guys. Meanwhile, Jesse pulls Cloud aside and shows him the Midgard train network. Cloud says he doesn't need to see it, but Jesse tells him there's such a thing as playing too hard to get. While they look at the monitor, he tells them about the ID checkpoints set up by Shinra, but that they need not worry since their IDs are impeccable. Afterwards, Cloud and Barrett have a little heart-to-heart, Barrett telling him that because of the big pizza plate above them, the people below are forced to suffer. Cloud says that they should just leave if it's so bad, since that has always worked for him. Despite of his callousness, however, Cloud acknowledges that for a lot of people in the slums, life is like the train they are riding on, with only one way to go. Chapter 3: Home Sweet Slum. Back in the Sector 7 slums, the group disperses once more, this time to get some well-earned rest after a job well done. As Cloud walks around the slums, he encounters a civilian carrying down propaganda posters from Avalanche. A man points to the gigantic pillar holding the plate up and asks how such a wonder can't be a sign of progress. However, as Cloud looks upon the pillar, he has a vision of a part of the plate crashing down. The man makes Cloud out for a Mako junkie as he cowers from the illusion. Afterwards, Cloud heads for Seventh Heaven, a bar run by his childhood friend, Tifa Lockhart, which also functions as Avalanche's secret base of operations. Tifa is sitting on the porch outside the bar with Marlene, Barrett's adoptive daughter, who is ecstatic to see her father return home. Tifa, on the other hand, is surprised to see Cloud carrying a live flower around, at which point Cloud gives it to her as a present. Tifa appreciates the gesture and says that this is a side of Cloud she hasn't seen before. Cloud says that a lot can change in 5 years, a sentiment by which Tifa seems surprised by. Tifa has some work to do at the bar, but once she is finished, Cloud asks her for his money for the job. Before discussing the money, however, Tifa shows him an empty apartment down the road where he can stay for free. Once at the apartment, Cloud brings up the issue of payment again, but Tifa can only pay him 500 gil of the 2,000 gil promised. Telling him they will pay the rest as soon as they are able, Tifa asks Cloud for help the next day to collect some of the money, and they make a date to meet the morning after. However, Cloud is woken up in the middle of the night by noises coming from the room next door. As he goes to investigate the cause of the disturbance, he finds Sephiroth waiting for him. Sephiroth touches him, revealing a vision of cloaked men wandering amidst pointed peaks, one of them mumbling the word reunion to himself. As the vision dissipates, Cloud sees that he is not fighting Sephiroth, but rather a sickly man dressed in the same cloak as from his vision, the number 49 prominently tattooed on his shoulder. Tifa arrives and helps the man back on his feet, telling Cloud that his name is Marco and that the landlady asked her to look after him. The morning after, Cloud meets Marl, the landlady, who bids him welcome and tells him that Tifa is waiting for him over at 7th Heaven. Together, they go to collect the money for the water filters Avalanche has been selling. The proceeds this time around going straight to Cloud for his work the night before. Afterwards, Tifa helps Cloud find some new work around the slums, as Biggs and Wedge, the neighborhood watch, spread the word about his services. As Cloud and Tifa take care of odd jobs around the slums, they run into her friend Johnny being taken away by Shinra Public Security under suspicion of being connected to Avalanche. Though Johnny is not a part of the group, Tifa fears he might still spill something, so Cloud and Tifa go save him by taking out the soldiers holding him captive. Cloud is about to kill Johnny to ensure he won't expose Avalanche, but a shocked Tifa stops him. Instead, Cloud lets blindfolded Johnny flee Sector 7. As he runs away, he vows never to return. After seeing his willingness to kill Johnny and the soldiers, Tifa once again remarks how Cloud has changed, this time mentioning his Marco-infused eyes, the mark of soldier. Back at the bar, Cloud asks Barrett for the rest of his money, but Barrett brushes him off, telling him to wait. As Avalanche holds a secret meeting in their underground hideout beneath the bar, Tifa pours Cloud a drink for him to savor as he waits. Tifa returns before the meeting is over, this time pouring herself a drink, as she has trouble getting on board with the bombings. As the others exit the meeting, Barrett tells Cloud they won't be needing him for the next mission, laying the rest of his payment on the table and asking him to leave the bar since they're having a private gathering. Though apparently out of a job, Jesse waits outside the Merc's room to hire him for a secret mission later that night. Chapter 4. Mad Dash. As they set out on their secret mission, they are joined by Biggs and Wedge, who think Jessie wants to go topside to meet her parents. Seeing as the last train has already left the station, they ride through the train tunnels on motorbikes, and on the way, Jessie tells Cloud the real reason they are paying a visit to the upper plate. In reality, Jessie wants Cloud's help to procure a new blasting agent from a Shinra warehouse that won't cause as big an explosion as last time. Jessie still believing the carnage and casualties from the last mission were the result of her bomb. As they reach the upper plate, they are accosted by Shinra and meet a rebellious soldier, 3rd class, called Roche, who challenges Cloud. Roche takes great pleasure in their encounter, but as Cloud damages his bike, the energetic soldier is forced to give up his pursuit. Jessie gives Cloud a kiss on the cheek as a reward for all his hard work. At the Shinra employees' housing district in Sector 7, Jessie, Biggs and Wedge meet with Jessie's mother, while Cloud sneaks into the back to steal Rowan Raspberry's, Jessie's comatose father's, ID card, so they can gain access to the Shinra warehouse. Rowan has been suffering from Marco poisoning ever since an industrial accident at a Shinra power plant, this tragedy being what prompted Jessie to join Avalanche. Afterwards, Jessie lets Biggs and Wedge in on the plan and asks them to create a diversion along with Cloud, while she sneaks in to get what she needs. As the guys get ready, Cloud catches a glimpse of the starry sky and recalls a time 7 years ago in Nibelheim when he promised Tifa that after he would become a famous soldier, he'd be her knight in shining armor and come to save her if she was ever in trouble. Suddenly, a flare lights up the sky, signaling them to start the mission. The guys engage Shinra forces in battle, but when Roche turns up on the scene, he challenges Cloud to a duel, this time with both feet on the ground. Cloud accepts and tells the others to back up. After Cloud emerges victorious, Roche expresses his wish to fight him yet again, but the place is overrun by Shinra troops. Roche pushes the Shinra forces back as a sign of good faith that they will meet again before taking his leave. As Shinra troops resume their attack, Wedge is heard saving Cloud, but when all seems lost, another cell of Avalanche comes to their rescue. Unlike the members of Barrett's cell, this Avalanche group is equipped with military gear, and Biggs tells Cloud that the rumor going around is that they got it from teaming up with Wutai, a country far to the west, which had been at war with Shinra. As they reunite with Jessie, she shows them where the parachutes for Shinra maintenance workers are kept. They use the parachutes to glide down from the plate, Cloud riding with Wedge and Biggs with Jessie. Biggs and Jessie talking about how Cloud is a keeper, while Cloud tells Wedge he did good and should be proud. Back in the slums, Wedge shows Cloud where Biggs and Jessie live and shows him the cats he lives with, being known as something of a local cat whisperer. Afterwards, Cloud heads to Jessie's for payment, but in addition to the payment, Jessie gives Cloud a hug and asks him to come over the following night for some pizza. Cloud says he can't make any promises, but that he'll think it over. As Cloud goes to bed, he is visited by Tifa, who asks him if he's going to stick around for a while. Cloud tells her that he remembers the promise he made to her and that he intends to keep it. As Cloud wakes up the following morning, the slums are beset by the mysterious ghost-like apparitions he had seen before. But this time, he's not the only one who sees them. Tifa and Cloud make their way to 7th Heaven, where Jessie and Barrett are busy trying to fend the invincible menace off. Before the cloaked beings disappear, they push Jessie down the stairs, injuring her in the process. Since Jessie can no longer take part in the mission, Barrett is forced to hire Cloud as a replacement. As they wait at the train platform, Barrett comments that there is no stopping this train they're on, and that a lot of people have risked their lives to get it rolling. Chapter 5. Dogged Pursuit. Cloud, Barrett and Tifa board the train as they head for Mako Reactor 5. But thanks to their recent terrorist activity, the train is already in a state of heightened alert. Before they're able to reach their destinations, they fail an ID check under the updated security system, calling robotic guards onto the scene. Tifa guides the civilians to the next train car, but the Shinra employee Barrett had been arguing with doesn't understand why she is helping them. She tells him that she doesn't want to see anyone get hurt, prompting him to tell her that he will look after the others. Instead of fighting the security robots, Cloud and the others decide to abandon the train mid-journey, Cloud holding onto Tifa and shielding her from the fall as they jump out. From there, they are forced to trek the rest of the way to the reactor on foot, all the while being surveyed by Heidegger. In order to not get lost, they follow a series of stamp graffiti sprayed by a member of Avalanche featuring a cartoon hound, proceeding in the direction in which the nose is pointing. Thanks to the directions, they're able to find Biggs, who shows them the way to infiltrate the reactor and gives them a set of grappling guns, so that they can get back down once they are finished. Chapter 7. A Trap is Sprung. Back at Shinra headquarters, Heidegger is busy getting everything ready as he and President Shinra continue to follow the progress of the terrorists. As they reach the core of the reactor, Cloud has yet another episode, this time seeing a younger Tifa leaning over the body of her dead father. In his vision, Tifa picks up Sephiroth's sword, responsible for killing her father, and carries it deeper into the reactor. Barrett and Tifa help snap Cloud out of it, and Barrett tells him to plant the bomb, which this time around is remote-controlled, courtesy of Jessie. However, as they try to leave, they discover that their actions are being broadcast to the public, live on the Shinra news. They learn that Shinra is aware of their operations and have been allowing their acts of terrorism to occur, so that Avalanche can be built up as public enemy number 1, offering the people both bread and circus. Heidegger issues a new prototype weapon called the Airbuster to be their executioner for all to see. But the robot isn't fully functional yet, much to Heidegger's dismay. This gives Cloud and the others a chance to escape, but as they think they're home free, they are intercepted by a hologram of none other than President Shinra. President Shinra recognizes Cloud's eyes as those of a soldier, but Cloud stresses that he's left that life behind. Barrett, on the other hand, is eager to give the president an earful about Mako being the lifestream, the lifeblood of the planet. President Shinra retorts by saying that the true nature of Mako is known by one and all, yet the people continue to use it. Before bidding them farewell, President Shinra thanks them for stoking the people's patriotic fervor by being the terrorists who allied themselves with wicked Wutai, even though Barrett dismisses the association. Heidegger reappears and thanks them for helping Shinra settle its war, before unleashing the mighty Airbuster on them. Against all odds, they manage to destroy the Shinra war machine, but the walkway they were fighting on blows up in the process, causing Cloud to plummet down to the slums below the plate, the grappling hook unable to save him from falling. As Cloud falls unconscious, he is visited by the mysterious ghost-like entities, as well as alternative versions of himself, one of them proving to be Sephiroth, who tells Cloud there is still so much to be done. Chapter 8: Budding Bodyguard. As Cloud awakens in the middle of a flower bed, he looks up at the broken roof of the church he came crashing through. He is greeted by the flower girl, who introduces herself as Aerith. She notices that Cloud has some materia, a form of crystallized Mako, host to many different abilities. So she tells him about her materia, which is special, because it doesn't do anything. Cloud says she probably just doesn't know how to use it. But Aerith doesn't mind, since it was a gift from her mother. As the two of them continue to talk, they are interrupted by Reno of the Turks, Shinra's Black Ops and Intelligence Division. Aerith tells Reno that Cloud is her bodyguard, so Cloud accepts to protect her for a price. Aerith suggests that one date ought to do it, but before they can discuss price further, they are interrupted once again by Reno. Reno asks Cloud what class he was in Soldier, but when Cloud responds that he was first class, Reno breaks out laughing, telling him that if he's going to bullshit him, he should at least make it believable. The two of them do battle, but as Cloud goes in for the kill, he is stopped by the cloaked figures and carried along with Aerith to the back of the church. Cloud and Aerith escape through the broken church roof, guided by the apparitions. Cloud leads Aerith back to her home in the Sector 5 slums, all the while getting to know her as they cross the rooftops of the slums together. There she introduces Cloud to her adoptive mother, Elmira Gainsborough, who proposes that Cloud stays the night before Aerith shows him the way back to Sector 7. Before going to bed, however, they use the rest of the day to deliver some flowers to the local school. Afterwards, they help some children out, and a young girl triggers a vision of young Tifa for Cloud. Her name slips his lips, and Aerith asks who Tifa is, but Cloud is unable to provide a definitive answer. After helping out the kids, they encounter a delirious cloaked man with a large tattoo of the number 2, whom Cloud momentarily mistakes for Sephiroth as he touches him. Cloud is left shaking as the man staggers away. As they return to Aerith's house, they are intercepted by yet another Turk, Rude, who has come to take Aerith away with him. Rude attacks Cloud, but Aerith helps her budding bodyguard to bring him down. Suddenly Rude gets a call from Reno, causing him to fall back and allow them passage back to Aerith's house. In the garden, Aerith tells Cloud the flowers have something to tell them, but that she can't hear them as things are now. As they return, Elmira asks Aerith to make up the guest room for Cloud. With Aerith away, Elmira confronts Cloud about being a soldier and asks him to leave in the middle of the night without telling Aerith. During the night, Cloud dreams of his own mother, telling him to find himself an older, more mature girl who can keep him on the straight and narrow. Chapter 9. The Town That Never Sleeps. After waking up, Cloud attempts to sneak out in the dead of night, but is caught by Aerith, who insists on taking him to Sector 7. At a playground in Sector 6, Aerith tells Cloud about how he reminds her of her first love, who was also a first-class soldier. But Cloud's vision goes blurry, and his ears begin to ring when she mentions his name. Cloud and Aerith spot Tifa being taken to Don Corneo's mansion in a chocobo wagon, and Aerith insists that Cloud goes to help her, as Don Corneo is known as a dangerous crime lord. They find that Don Corneo is looking for a bride, but only entertains women endorsed by a member of the Trio, a triad of influential locals who run the notorious slum entertainment town called Wall Market. Tifa has already been endorsed by Chocobo Sam, so if Aerith and Cloud want to gain entry into the mansion, they must seek out the other members of the trio. They seek out Madame M, the proprietress of a hand massage parlor in Wall Market, and after she gives Cloud a massage, she agrees to endorse Aerith if she dresses for the occasion. Since the dress in question is out of their price range, Madame M suggests they compete in the underground Colosseum, and says that if they win, she will outfit Aerith for her trip to the mansion. After winning the tournament, they acquire an endorsement from Madame M for Aerith, who dresses her up in a million guild dress for the audition. Aerith takes Cloud to the Honey Bee Inn, a members-only nightclub, to see Andrea Rodea, the last member of the trio. Aerith hopes that by meeting Andrea, Cloud will be able to convince him to give him his stamp of approval and help him dress up as a girl for the audition. In order to win Andrea's approval, Cloud must take part in a dance-off against him in front of the whole club. Cloud reluctantly agrees, yet ends up impressing Andrea with his moves nonetheless. As a result, Cloud is able to win Andrea's approval, who agrees to transform him into a vision of beauty. Having been endorsed by the trio, Cloud and Aerith make their way back to Don Corneo's mansion, this time gaining entry. Once inside, they are subdued by gas and taken to a dungeon where they meet up with Tifa, who is shocked to see Cloud dressed as a woman. Later, they are brought before the Don for him to make his pick of the three. Cloud can't help but air his disapproval, which tickles the fancy of the Don, leading him to pick Cloud over the rest. Tifa and Aerith are led away by Corneo's lackeys, but they break free as soon as they are able. Aerith knocking one of them out with a chair, while Tifa uses her fists for the same effect. Suddenly, Leslie Kyle, a disloyal henchman of the Dons, comes bearing gifts, returning their weapons after having heard about the situation from Andrea. Meanwhile, Don Corneo tries to get physical with Cloud, resulting in Cloud kicking him away. As the Don calls for help, however, the only help that comes is Tifa and Aerith ready for a fight, bringing Cloud's belongings with him. Cloud gets back into his regular clothes, revealing to Don Corneo that he was a man all along. With the Don cornered, the three of them start to interrogate him as to why he was looking into Avalanche. As Cloud threatens to cut off his family jewels, he starts to spill the beans, telling him he was paid by Shinra to find the man with the gun arm. Further threatening to tear his jewels off or smash them, Don Corneo divulges that Shinra is about to drop the upper plate on the Sector 7 slums, killing countless innocents in order to crush Barrett's avalanche cell. Having gotten the information they were after, Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith get ready to leave, but Don Corneo activates a trap door, sending them plummeting down into the sewers below. Back at Shinra headquarters, the president asks whether their plans are on schedule, and Heidegger is happy to inform him that everything is going according to plan. However, Reeve Tuesti, head of urban development, begs the president to reconsider dropping the plate, to no avail. The president tells Reeve that progress requires sacrifice, and that he should learn to live with it. Chapter 10. Rough waters. Cloud wakes up face down in the sewers and goes to wake up Tifa and Aerith, who are lying nearby, still unconscious. There they must face Abzu, one of Dawn Corneo's pets, which he keeps in the sewers to take care of unwanted individuals. Together they are able to drive the beast away, but they can't take it easy just yet, since they must warn the people of Sector 7 about the plate falling. Tifa and Aerith become fast friends as they traverse the sewers, and Aerith tries to comfort a worried Tifa by telling her the future isn't set in stone. Chapter 11. Haunted. As they escape the sewers, they enter the train graveyard, a deposit for trains that are no longer in commission. Suddenly, a helicopter flies overhead, carrying Reno and Rude, who have been told to carry on with the mission, even though Reno voices concerns about whether it's the right thing to do. Cloud and the others make their way through the train graveyard, which they find to be haunted by the trapped spirits of children, whom Aerith can still commune with. The children are desperate for someone to play with, so they engage the party in battle. Later, they help the party by moving some trains, at which point the radio kicks in, and they hear that Shinra's attempt to drop the plate is already underway. As they try to hurry to the pillar, Aerith is swept away by the ghosts, where she sees a vision of the children playing hide and seek. Moreover, she sees herself as a young girl playing the same game, but just like then, no one came to find her. As the vision dissipates, they are confronted by the demon haunting the grounds, and only by felling the creature are they able to finally free the trapped spirits of the children, earning them their gratitude. Chapter 12. Fight for survival. Back at the pillar, the people of the slums, along with Barrett and the other Avalanche members, do their best to fend off the Shinra forces. However, as Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith try to rush in to help them, they are momentarily detained by the cloaked entities who stop them from reaching the pillar as soon as they otherwise would have. The mysterious entities then disappear of their own accord, allowing them passage to the pillar. They hear Barrett fighting halfway up the pillar, but before they can go and help him, Wedge comes tumbling down, luckily having a grappling gun to break his fall. Cloud asks Wedge to stay with Tifa and Aerith as he races up the pillar. There, Cloud finds Biggs injured, but the floating entities once again stand in his way. Once they leave, Cloud is able to talk to Biggs and promises him he won't let what he has done be for nothing. Biggs bids farewell to Cloud, telling him their future is in his hands. As Cloud continues to ascend the pillar, he is stopped by Rude and Reno, who announce for all to hear that Shinra is going to save Sector 7 from Avalanche by protecting the pillar, shaping the narrative in their favor. Bearing a grudge against Cloud, Reno starts to shoot at him from the helicopter. Seeing this, Tifa cannot bear to stay back any longer. She asks Aerith and Wedge to find Marlene and get her to safety as she races up the pillar to help Cloud. On the way to find Marlene, Wedge convinces a Shinra trooper to disobey the orders of a superior and let the people out of Sector 7. Wedge leads the slum dwellers towards Sector 6, while Aerith goes to find Marlene. She tells the people of the slums to escape while they still can, but as she reaches 7th Heaven, a Shinra helicopter crashes just outside the bar. Aerith finds Marlene cowering beneath the counter of the bar, but she helps her feel better right away, telling her she's going to take her somewhere safe. Marlene sees something strange about Aerith as she comforts her, but Aerith playfully asks her to keep it quiet. As they try to leave the bar, they are intercepted by Tseng, the leader of the Turks, who has come for Aerith. With nowhere left to run, Aerith agrees to go with him in exchange for Marlene's safety. At the pillar, Tifa comes running up the stairs, but as Reno prepares to shoot her, Rude steers the helicopter off course, making him miss. This gives Cloud and Tifa the opportunity to keep climbing the pillar, where they find Jessie, buried under a pile of rubble. Jessie feels lucky to have Cloud with her at the end, as she dies with him and Tifa by her side. With no time to grieve, they find Barrett atop the pillar, but Reno and Rude arrive and initiate the plate separation procedure. Though Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa are able to defeat them and destroy Rude's helicopter, they fail to stop the plate separation procedure from completing as the floating cloaks get in their way, giving Rude time to finish what they started. Reno and Rude evacuate in a Shinra medical helicopter, while Cloud and the others get a message from Zhang, who gloats that Aerith, the Ancient, is finally back under their control. As the message is terminated, the plate starts to come down. But even with all hope lost, Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa manage to ride a ropeway to safety as the pillar comes crashing down, killing both the people of the slums as well as those who lived on the plate above. All the while, President Shinra looks on from the safety of his tower. At the same time, a small cat-like creature with a peculiar crown falls to its knees, cursing the world for being home to such needless violence and suffering. Chapter 13. A Broken World. Having escaped with their lives intact, Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett find themselves in the Sector 6 slums. Barrett is heartbroken at having lost Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, but most importantly Marlene. Tifa recognizes their own part in this outcome, but Barrett tells her they can't blame themselves for Shinra's actions. Cloud then tells Barrett that he thinks Marlene is safe thanks to Aerith, so they go to her house to make sure. Along the way, Cloud is curious whether Tifa and Barrett know anything about what Zhang meant when he called Aerith an ancient. Barrett tells them that the ancients come up in planetology books as the original stewards of the planet, capable of communing with it. This triggers a flashback of Sephiroth for Cloud, from when Sephiroth said that through his veins runs the blood of ancients, making the planet his birthright. Sephiroth continues to haunt him as he returns to his senses, telling him he has failed again. Tifa notices there is something wrong with Cloud, but doesn't see anyone else there with him. Sephiroth tells Cloud that his suffering will make him strong, just like Cloud himself wishes, before disappearing once again. Back at Aerith's house, they meet Elmira, who tells a desperate Barrett that Marlene is sound asleep upstairs. They check up on her, careful not to disturb her sleep, before returning downstairs to Elmira. She tells them that Shinra has Aerith in their custody, and Cloud asks whether it's because she is an ancient. Elmira tells them that Aerith is probably the last living ancient, and tells them the story of how she and Aerith met about 15 years ago, during the Wutai War. Elmira had gone to the station every day in the hopes of meeting her husband, who had been fighting in the war, but he never arrived. Instead, she met Aerith and her mother one day, her mother entrusting Aerith to her with her dying breath. Elmira adopted Aerith, but soon noticed she had mystical powers and the ability to connect to the spirits of the dead, telling Elmira that her husband had returned to the planet. She didn't believe her, but a few days later, Elmira received a letter informing her of her husband's passing. When the Turks came looking for her, Elmira learned that Aerith was an ancient, whose mystical powers Shinra wanted to use to find the so-called Promised Land. Elmira believes that Shinra is treating Aerith well, since they never tried to take her by force, but Cloud begs to differ. Even so, he agrees not to do anything just yet. Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa return to the ruins of Sector 7, where they find Wedge still alive, and a secret underground testing facility where Shinra has been exposing people to Mako energy and turning them into monsters. This sparks some memories in Cloud of other Shinra experiments, but the mysterious ghostly beings eject them from the testing site before they can investigate any further. Chapter 14. In Search of Hope. Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa carry Wedge to Elmira's place, and Cloud asks her permission to go rescue Aerith. He believes that Aerith, being the last ancient, is too valuable for Shinra to ever be released, so their only hope is to go get her themselves. Elmira needs some time to think, so she asks them to get some rest. Later, Cloud hears footsteps and follows them outside, and finds either Barret, Tifa, or Aerith among Aerith's flowers. If Cloud meets Barret, he tells Cloud about the other members of Avalanche, who Cloud never had the chance to meet, and promises to introduce them after they save Aerith. If the person Cloud finds is Tifa, she asks if the flower he gave her was from Aerith, and cries over how Shinra has taken everything away from them, while Cloud embraces her. If the person Cloud finds is Aerith, he is surprised and wonders if it's a dream. Aerith talks about the importance of living in the moment, as everyone dies one day, and warns Cloud not to fall in love with her, because it won't be real. Cloud tells her he's coming for her before waking up in the guest room. The next morning, Elmira has decided that Cloud is right about Shinra, and allows them to go rescue Aerith. Barret asks her to look after Marlene and Wedge, with Marlene also saying Barret should go help Aerith. However, since the trains aren't running and Shinra is likely to have every station under lockdown, they need an alternative route topside. Tifa suggests they ask Don Corneo, but he's not at his mansion. Instead, they find Leslie, who claims he can help them get topside, on the condition they help him find Corneo in his sewer hideout. Barret doesn't trust Leslie, but Cloud agrees to help, warning him that betraying them will cost him his life. When they find Corneo's hideout, one of his pets steals the key from Leslie. Cloud, Barret, and Tifa give chase and reclaim it, only to find it was not a key, but a necklace that once belonged to Leslie's fiancé, Merle. Leslie reveals that she was chosen to become one of Don Corneo's brides, but disappeared without a trace right after. Leslie wants his revenge against Corneo for what he did to Merle, and upon hearing his story, Barret softens up to him. They return to the hideout door, and Leslie goes in alone, but Don Corneo sees his betrayal coming and disarms him. As the Don prepares to shoot Leslie, Cloud, Barret, and Tifa come to his aid. Seemingly cornered, Corneo calls his pet Abzu to come play with them, and uses the opportunity to escape. With Corneo gone, Leslie has lost his opportunity for revenge for now, but Tifa and Barret encourage him to not give up hope that his fiancée is still alive, and that the necklace is a symbol of their reunion. In exchange for helping him, Leslie gives Cloud and his friends grappling guns to climb over the Sector 7 wall, from where they can reach the Shinra building. After they bid farewell to Leslie, the three of them start scaling the wall. Chapter 15. The day Midgar stood still. Cloud, Barret, and Tifa make their way through the collapsed Sector 7, and as they climb, they get a good look at all the destruction the falling of the plate has caused. After destroying yet another Shinra sentry robot, the robot self-destructs, throwing them over the edge. Cloud grabs Tifa, and Tifa uses her grappling gun to grab Barret, the three of them managing to save themselves from falling. After the trialing ordeal, Cloud hopes that everyone is warmed up for what's to come. Chapter 16. The Belly of the Beast. As they reach the Shinra building, Barret is eager to charge in through the front door, guns blazing. Cloud suggests they use Shinra trucks to infiltrate the parking garage. They jump onto a truck and get inside. But when the truck leaves the checkpoint, they fall and have to fight their way in. In the lobby, Tifa makes her way inside the reception and obtains a keycard to access the upper floors. Using the computer at the reception, Tifa discovers that the lab where Aerith is most likely being held is on the 65th floor, but that they can only reach the 59th floor with their current level of access. To reach the higher floors, Cloud, Barret, and Tifa act like tourists, participating in a virtual tour of Shinra's history and achievements. In the visual entertainment hall of the exhibition, they are treated to an immersive VR simulation detailing Shinra's understanding of the ancients and how the company aspires to discover the Promised Land in order to build Neo Midgar, a city making full use of the bounty of the planet. As the show ends, they are unexpectedly forced into another showing, this time seeing distressing images of Midgar being destroyed by a meteor. Cloud sees Sephiroth, blade in hand, as well as Tifa and Barret lying on the ground before him. Once the vision ends, Tifa and Barret are none the worse for wear, aside from being disturbed by what they saw, Barrett noting it was not appropriate for children. As they continue, the trio meets Hart, Mayor Domino's deputy, who leads them to Domino, who has been aiding them by silencing any possible alarms. He is Avalanche's man on the inside, as he loathes Shinra for locking him up in the archives and not giving him any real authority in Midgar. With Domino's help, Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa reach the 64th floor, where they eavesdrop on the Shinra director's meeting. During the meeting, President Shinra denies Reeve Tuesti's plan to rebuild Sector 7, since they now have Aerith, their hope being that they can now build Neo-Midgar in the Promised Land. Professor Hojo, head of the Science Research Division, believes they can use Aerith, even though she is not a pure-blood ancient, suggesting they use soldier candidates to reproduce more ancients from Aerith for Shinra to study. Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa shadow Hojo as he leaves the meeting and intercept him in his lab, forcing him to lead them to Aerith. Instead of doing their bidding, however, Hojo releases one of his grotesque experiments and escapes as they are forced to deal with the creature. They chase after Hojo as soon as they are able and finally find Aerith in a cage. Hojo notices that Cloud has soldier qualities, but he claims he's not a member of the Force. Cloud clutches his head and his ears begin to ring, and the mysterious ghosts blow Hojo away before he can say any more. Taking advantage of the situation, Barrett frees Aerith by blowing the cage open, and also freeing another red-furred beast in the process. The beast escapes ahead of them and chases Hojo to the elevator. As the beast barely misses Hojo, it turns around and faces the party, but Aerith helps calm the creature down. The beast reveals his ability to speak, to everyone's surprise, and Tifa notices a 13 tattoo on the creature, who calls himself Red 13, a designation given to him by Hojo. As Cloud approaches the elevator, he is stricken by the image of Jenova, a terrifying life form from his past, and Sephiroth's supposed mother, causing him to collapse. Chapter 17 Deliverance from Chaos. Cloud awakens in Aerith's old room in Hojo's lab, where she tells them about her Cetra heritage, Cetra being what the ancients called themselves. She also tells them how Shinra is wrong about her being able to lead the company to the Promised Land. Their conversation is interrupted by the ghost-like apparitions, and Red 13 recognizes them as whispers, telling the others that they are arbiters of fate, drawn to those who attempt to alter destiny's course, and ensuring they do not. Suddenly, they get a video message from Wedge and Domino, telling them that a helicopter from Avalanche HQ will rendezvous with them on the roof and extract them safely from the building. As the group heads for the roof through Hojo's lab, they find Jenova's tank, where its headless body spooks everyone. Red 13 explains that Jenova is Shinra's most precious research specimen, and that Hojo has spent his life studying it. Sephiroth appears in front of the tank, but this time everyone can see him. As Cloud charges his nemesis, Sephiroth breaks the walkway they are on and sends everyone plummeting to the deep recesses of the lab, into an area called the Drum, where Hojo controls their every move and ushers more of his research specimens to test the group, only to watch his specimens get destroyed, much to his delight. The party reunites and makes their way back to where Jenova's tank was, but this time Jenova is gone, with only a trail of dark liquid leading to President Shinra's office. The party reaches the seemingly empty office of President Shinra and finds the president hanging for dear life on the side of the roof, offering them all the money they might ever want if they save him. Barrett pulls President Shinra up and tells him to confess to the Sector 7 plate collapse, and that there is no link between Avalanche and Wutai. President Shinra returns the favor by holding Barrett at gunpoint, while scoffing at him for only wanting to clear his name, rather than asking the company to shut down all macro reactors. Before he can pull the trigger, however, Sephiroth appears behind him and runs him through with his sword. He then turns his sword on Barrett, stabbing him in the same fashion and leaving him for dead. Sephiroth is revealed to be another cloaked man who transforms into the Jenova Dreamweaver, a monster able to create illusions. Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith destroy it, revealing the identity of the Sephiroth clone to be that of Marco from the Sector 7 slums. As Marco goes limp, his remains are picked up by yet another manifestation of Sephiroth, just as the Avalanche helicopter arrives on the scene. Sephiroth exits the building, but as Cloud attempts to go after him, Barrett comes back to life, having been miraculously healed by the Whispers. As Cloud pursues Sephiroth, the illusion is dispelled, and it is revealed that he is yet another cloaked man, this one bearing a tattoo of the number 2. The man willingly falls off the building, carrying a part of Jenova's body with him. As they step onto the roof, the Avalanche helicopter that was sent out to extract them is shot down by another helicopter piloted by Reno and Rude, which brings President Shinra's son, Rufus Shinra, onto the roof of the building. Rufus fights Cloud one-on-one while the others escape downstairs, though Tifa stays behind to help Cloud. After losing the duel against Cloud, Rufus is flown off by the Turks, bidding farewell to Cloud with a barrage of bullets that leaves him hanging off the edge of the building. As Cloud's hand begins to slip, he is caught by Tifa. Tifa having been able to save him this time around, even though she was powerless to help him with the Sector 5 reactor. Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, Aerith, and Red 13 escape the Shinra building via the expressway with vehicles they stole from the Shinra exhibition rooms. Chapter 18: Destiny's Crossroads. As they drive away, they can see the entire Shinra building behind them getting covered in whispers. Inside the building, Rufus appears to be able to see them, while Tseng remains oblivious to their presence. As the party continues its escape, they are forced to take out numerous Shinra troops and robots sent out to pursue them. At the end of the expressway, they run into Sephiroth, who has been waiting for them. As Cloud gets ready to attack Sephiroth, the whispers come screeching, resulting in a vision of Zack Fair, a soldier carrying Cloud's iconic Buster Sword, getting ready to make his last stand before his death against Shinra troops outside of Midgar. The vision is cut short, and Sephiroth opens up a portal, telling Cloud he will wait for him on the other side. Aerith hesitates about defying destiny, but tells the others that Sephiroth is more dangerous to the planet than Shinra, and resolves to stop him at all cost. They step through the passageway and enter a surreal realm where they fight giant whispers as well as Sephiroth himself. How much of what they experience truly happens is ambiguous, as Sephiroth is a master of projecting illusions, having trapped Cloud into illusions numerous times since he started his journey already. They witness distressing images of Aerith dying, a meteorite hurtling toward Midgar, and of a much older Red 13 witnessing a destroyed Midgar, wondering if they are glimpses of a bleak future. They defeat the giant whispers and afterwards battle Sephiroth. Although they prevail, Sephiroth remains and shows Cloud a vision of what he calls the Edge of Creation. He implies that the world is ending and asks Cloud to embrace his plan for the planet's future. Cloud refuses, but is defeated and left with a warning that he has 7 seconds before the end. With the whispers defeated and fate thus defied, the party is free to advance towards a new unknown future. Aerith misses the steel sky, deeming the new sky ahead of them unknowable. As the party leaves Midgar to pursue Sephiroth to stop whatever his plan is. Back in Midgar, the people at the ruins of Sector 7 start rebuilding. Biggs takes it easy as he recuperates from his injuries he sustained at the plate's fall. And Marlene thinks of Barrett, with Barrett declaring that he will return for her. Rufus takes over the company. and Hojo discovers that Genoa's body has disappeared from his lab, making him break into hysterical laughter. With Destiny's course changed, Zack has survived his last stand. He picks up a delirious Cloud and brings him to Midgar, on the way passing Cloud and Aerith as they leave the city, their paths not crossing, as if they do not occupy the same space and time or the same reality. With the future unwritten, the unknown journey will continue. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you watched this far, then you must be hungry for more. So don't forget to check out our complete story of Final Fantasy VII Remake intermission video for the next chapter in the story. Not to mention a fun reunion with everyone's favorite plucky ninja girl. We also have Crisis Core Reunion and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to look forward to, so don't forget to subscribe and click that bell to stay updated. But until next time, my throat. Lord have mercy, baby.